Instagram. My name is Katrina Ramos, and on this channel we talk everything life, beauty, and fashion. And today I'm so excited because we're actually going to be starting a brand new series surrounding one of my favorite topics, which is skincare and skin, what you're doing, and all of that good stuff. And I'm actually beginning this series because I kind of want to open up a window for you all to kind of see where I've been, what I've gone through, what I've done, what I've tried, what works for me, what has worked for me, and what hasn't. And really give you guys kind of like a deep dive of what my process has been, what I wish I knew, and what I would have done differently. And so I really hope that this is something that is able to enlighten you in your path to clear, radiant skin, because isn't that like what we all want? So I don't want to do too much rambling. I want us to get right into it. I'm actually going to be leaving you guys some tangibles as well, so that this is really something that you can incorporate into your journey to really, I guess, like fine tune it so it doesn't take so long. Because for me, I've struggled with acne for years. I mean, it's been probably 10 years, and I could have shortened that window. And if I can shorten that window for any one of you all, then, you know, my job is done. So let's get right into it. So middle school, I really didn't have much issues with my skin. High school is when I really began to be bothered, I'll say. You know, it was standard kind of thing to get a few breakouts here and there, especially, you know, around that time of the month. And it was around high school time that I began realizing that, okay, so I'm getting breakouts, but I'm getting breakouts all the time. What I noticed is that as soon as they were clearing up, there were brand new breakouts cropping up. And it just felt like this endless battle. Like I was never gonna be able to get clear skin. Like, what is going on? What is happening? So this is around the time that I thought, well, maybe I need to try, like, you know, some of those products that are geared more towards acne prone, oily skin, right? And this is early 2000s, where the internet was not that accessible. Well, the internet was accessible, but information, I'll say, information wasn't that accessible. You know, there weren't all of these different blogs and people sharing their experiences, and even like doctors and professionals utilizing really big platforms like YouTube and Instagram and TikTok to kind of educate their audience. Those things were not in existence just yet in early 2000 when all of this was beginning for me. And so, you know, the first thing that I think many of us do is, you know, we go to the drugstore, we walk through the aisles, we're trying to figure out what we should try, right? And we pick up whatever like catches their eye. I picked up things like the Neutrogena oil-free acne cleanser, you know, like that orange cleanser. I tried like, what was it? It was the Morning Burst acne cleanser, the one with the little beads and stuff. I tried stuff like that, and you know, it wasn't making a difference. It wasn't making a difference. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, this isn't working. I need to try something else, right? So this is when I ended up seeing an infomercial for Proactive. You know, the before and afters were amazing. It was really enticing. So I thought, okay, well, I'll try it. You know, I tried the drugstore products. It's not working. Let me try this. So I bought one of the small little sets. I think they call them like the 30-day kit or something like that. I mean, skincare lasts a really long time, so that lasted me more like 3 months. And so I used it throughout the 3 months, and it really was doing something. It was really improving my skin. But what I realized is that I was no longer getting breakouts on my forehead at this point. My forehead was pretty clear. It was like it had like transferred, like my forehead became clear, and then I was breaking out like on my cheeks and my chin area. And I won't say that that's because of the Proactive. I honestly think that at that time I was going through a bunch of hormonal changes, you know, as we do as young women. And I think that I really attribute that change just to the stage of my life I was in at that time. But it wasn't improving the breakouts like on my cheeks. Like they weren't going away or minimizing or any of that. And so at the end of that kit, when I used it all, I decided, well, I don't think this is working either, you know? And so I decided not to continue purchasing that. And I saw another infomercial, and it was for Murad. Murad was more expensive than Proactive. I thought, well, if Proactive didn't work, then maybe Murad will work for me. The ingredients were different and the price point was higher. And so I thought, well, maybe if I invest a little bit more, maybe it'll work. I thought it was worth a try, and so I did. I tried it. Between Proactive and Murad, I definitely feel like Proactive worked better for me than Murad. So by the time I finished those products, I definitely decided that I wasn't going to repurchase. I was really feeling like out of my depth at this point, and so I was feeling overwhelmed. I wouldn't say desperate, but I was definitely feeling out of my depth and a little bit overwhelmed because my skin wasn't improving. And so I ended up talking to my doctor about birth control for obvious reasons. And what I ended up doing was actually getting on hormonal birth control pills because she had explained to me about how positive the results have been for other people who have been struggling with acne and how their skin has improved. However, at that time, I mean, I didn't know that this was going to just be a temporary fix. So I ended up taking the birth control pills, and it was improving my skin a lot. My skin cleared up. I had a couple of rogue breakouts, I'll say, around that time of the month. And I was beginning to feel like we were turning a corner. Everything was improving. I was feeling really great. I ended up starting a family. I had my daughter, and then once I gave birth, I decided to get back on the birth control. You know, I was having great results, and you know, I of course needed a birth control option, and so I got back on it. This time around, I didn't go with birth control pills. I ended up going with the Mirena IUD, and it lasts for 5 years. And that was a really great experience for me. It was about the 4-year mark, I'll say, that I began like kind of deep diving into this rabbit hole of all things natural. And it's at this point that I began to realize how important it is for us to be really, really intentional about the things that we put on our skin, in our body, and all of those things. Because when I was doing all of this research and kind of like just going down this rabbit hole, in high school, I think we all kind of learned that our skin is our largest organ, right? But what I didn't realize and what I didn't know, I wasn't aware that the things that we put on our skin actually potentially can go straight directly into our bloodstream. And the majority of the time it does. And I want you guys to take it upon yourselves to really take the initiative to do your own research, and don't just take what I'm saying at face value, but really do your own research, because it's really going to stick in your mind and be a lot more valuable to you when you do the research yourself. 60% of the things that we put on our skin actually absorb directly into our bloodstream. And the chemicals that are in these lotions, body washes, shampoos, the fluoride in our toothpaste, everything. The things that we're putting on our skin, depending on what kind of products you're using, it can have a lot of chemicals in it. And so those things go directly into your bloodstream, and it can actually have a long-term effect on your body, in terms of like the nervous system and all of these really intricate details. And it's at this time that I actually ended up coming across information, reliable information, that informed me that hormonal birth control pills are actually not just the pills. I want to say it's hormonal birth control period actually is classified as a group 1 carcinogen by the World Health Organization and the International Center for Research on Cancer. And that hit me a like a bag of bricks. Like, excuse me? What? And honestly, I was like really upset. I was very upset because I felt like this was new information that I didn't know. I didn't feel like my doctor really made sure that I knew this information. And I will be honest and say that I can't say that I really like read the fine print, and perhaps it was in there. And actually, I'm gonna check. Maybe it was in there. I don't know. But what I do know is that it was never explicitly told to me. And I think that that is one piece of information that should definitely be given to women when we're exploring our birth control options. So I ended up getting the birth control removed immediately. I made an appointment immediately. I had it removed. And when I went through this process, I thought, well, if I'm not gonna be doing hormonal birth control, what am I going to do? Because, at this point, I'm a grown woman, I'm a mother. I do need to do something. I need to do something, right? And so I began to explore my options at this point. And I ended up coming across the fertility awareness method. It's also known as the calendar method. That's usually what I say. The calendar method is just shorter. It doesn't sound so technical, I guess, too. So the calendar method. And there's a bunch of really helpful apps you all can download and explore that are actually really amazing. They have different literature in the apps that'll really kind of explain different aspects and different portions about the method and how to use it and what to do and how to get started, and all of these different interfaces within the app that really makes this accessible and doable. And that is what I ended up doing. And that's one of the other things that really kind of made me mad too, is because there are so many different birth control options out there that doesn't require you to take a hormonal drug and synthetic hormonal drug at that. And they just leave these things out, and I really think that it is irresponsible on the doctor's part, and just like like the medical field in general. Like, we should make sure that we're completely informing our patients and making sure that they are aware of all of their options, and they're not kind of just being pushed towards this mainstream kind of approach. You know what I mean? Because what's right for one isn't right for someone else. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I was coming from and where I stand on it. But I'm really thankful that I kind of like went through that really nerdy moment of just completely diving down this rabbit hole and grasping a lot of information that I actually was never even aware of. And so anyway, long story short, moving on, I got off birth control and everything. And I kid you not, y'all, my face was so angry. Like, it was livid. She was pissed. And what happened is that I ended up getting deep painful acne, like cystic acne, the type of acne that's deep in your skin that doesn't really ever come to the surface. It was so debilitating, y'all. It was all over my face, and again, not my forehead, but just like my cheeks and my chin area. Like, it was so bad. And for the life of me, I at this time, I did not know like what was going on. I thought, well, maybe I need to just detoxify the birth control and, My body just needs to rebalance itself. I kid you not, a year later, my skin was in the worst shape it had ever been. And so my skin was just out of control. And at this point, I definitely was out of my depth. I definitely did not know what to do. And so at this point, I really felt like these prescription creams were really going to do as much as they've done. Like, this is going to be the best it can do in terms of a prescription cream. And so at this point, I thought, well, maybe I need to go ahead and see like a real dermatologist. So I thought maybe I need to get a second opinion. And so I went to an actual dermatologist, and she ended up prescribing me antibiotics, which it was minocycline, and she also prescribed a vitamin A cream that I would put on at night every other day. So I went ahead and went through the full course of the antibiotics and the vitamin A cream. And she had also actually suggested that I try some chemical peel treatments with BHA, because that would really bring my skin to a more clear state, and then I would be able to use the vitamin A cream to kind of maintain the results. So I went through all of that, and I actually had really great results. That is what had given me the best results thus far, and my skin actually had gotten quite clear. And with all of the chemical peel treatments as well, even my hyperpigmentation had really faded out, and my skin was looking really great. And so at this point, I was feeling more confident, I was feeling good, I was feeling like it was all behind me. And y'all, I made a mistake. I stopped using the vitamin A cream as prescribed. I started adding a bunch of different things to my I was about to say workout routine, into my skincare regimen. I just went rogue, I guess. I just went rogue. I thought, I was in the clear, we turned a corner and everything. And long story short, I went right back to where I was before. I know, terrible, y'all. So at this point, I decided to go ahead and try an esthetician. I thought, well, let me go ahead and get a custom skincare routine, and let's just see how that works. Hopefully it'll be enough and I can get back right? Long story short, I did not get back right. The same thing that happened with the Curology is what I experienced with the esthetician skincare routine. It was just like I did experience an improvement, but I reached that plateau where I wasn't making any new improvements. I wasn't making any new strides towards clear skin, and my breakouts were still very consistent, very regular. So it wasn't quite getting me there. I really kind of had to have a transparent moment with myself, with the fact that the only thing that has worked for me long term is a medical approach to my skin and my struggle with acne. And so I made the commitment. I was like, you know what? We need to just go back to the dermatologist. We don't have time to keep experimenting. I actually felt mild regret going to my esthetician, not because she's not an amazing esthetician, but just because I knew that the dermatologist worked for me. And I felt like I messed my progress up, and I should have just went back to her, and I didn't. So anyway, the important part is that I did go back to her. So I went back to my dermatologist. She put me back on antibiotics. This time it was doxycycline, and she gave me 2 creams. It was a benzoyl peroxide clindamycin prescription cream, and then she also gave me a vitamin A cream. And for an entire month, those things were really making a huge difference, huge strides. I was like, okay, yes, this is working. But once I completed my 1 month mark, I began getting headaches on the doxycycline, and I really enjoyed the doctor that I was working with because she was very transparent, very informative, and she made sure that I knew that if I did have headaches, to make sure I let her know immediately. Now, I'm not the type of person to get headaches all of the time. I get headaches very rarely, and I was getting headaches like almost like every day, it felt, for that last week, for like that 4th week. I felt like I was getting headaches like every day. And so I let my doctor know uh, the issues that I was experiencing. I didn't actually realize that it was so serious, but she did say that I needed to quit taking the doxycycline, effective immediately. And so I did. And so she said that we're actually going to have to go ahead and switch up our treatment option. And so at this point, she had suggested that I either go for Accutane or spironolactone. So my biggest question to her was, which treatment would you suggest for patients who are really looking for a long-term solution to clearing acne? Because, you know, number one, I'm very transparent, and I am completely against hormonal birth control. I don't want to ever take it, but in this specific scenario, because nothing else has worked, I am willing to take it for 6 months for this treatment plan, but it needs to be something that's going to be long term. I don't like the idea of being on spironolactone long term and then also being tied to birth control, you know what I mean? And so what she ended up saying was that Accutane is definitely going to be the best option for clearing your acne long term. She said that only 20% of treated patients actually experience a, I guess, regression when their acne comes back. Only 20% of treated patients actually experience their acne come back after going through a full Accutane treatment. And so that's what I ended up going for. And so that's what I'm on now, you guys. Accutane is what I'm currently on. Treatment is going very well. Okay, so let's talk tangibles. We already went over the things that I wish I knew. Let's go over what I would have done differently. And this is going to be really simple. Okay, what I would have done differently is I would have just trusted my dermatologist. Okay, now I think it's one thing to try an over-the-counter cleanser that's targeted for those with acne-prone skin, but it's another when it doesn't work and we kind of give into the consumerism and keep buying product after product after product, just praying that, you know, it works. You know what I mean? And so dermatologists are very educated. They know what they're doing, especially if you're someone who is like me, and please be like me. Go out, do your research, check out what dermatologists are in your local area, read the reviews of patients who have been treated by them, and make a really great informed decision on who you're going to be treated by, and trust their expertise, because I'm telling you, it will save you money, it'll save you time, and it'll save you permanent damage to your skin, because as you experiment and you try to find something that works, that acne will potentially be getting worse, which will potentially then cause permanent damage in the form of scarring and hyperpigmentation. And so I just want to encourage you all to trust dermatologists. They're very educated. They know what they're doing, and they'll be able to really point you in the right direction. It's not just say that their first treatment plan will be the right treatment plan, but you will be so much better off being guided by a professional, a medical professional, a doctor, than you will trying to guide yourself. I promise you that. So that is all for this video. In episode 2, we're going to be talking about my experience in terms of the process of getting started on Accutane, how it is from appointment to appointment, because the treatment plan is a lot more detailed. and kind of like hands-on. We're going to be talking about the side effects I've experienced. I'm going to show you all my before and after photos, and I'm really going to give you guys a full update on how it's been my first 3 months. I'm coming up on 3 months within a week or two. So definitely stay tuned for that. I hope that this was all really helpful for you all. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you learned anything new, what your personal experiences have been with acne or Accutane or anything. Let me know if you all have any suggestions or questions. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and make sure to ring the bell so that you're notified when episode 2 drops. Okay, thank you so much for watching, everyone. It's been fun. I will see you in the next one. Bye.